Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a fascinating mystery today, the mystery of Subject C and the lunar base. So, picture this. We're looking at a case study drawn from some really intriguing esoteric source material, focusing on an individual known only to us as Subject C. Now, Subject C has this incredibly intense, almost paralyzing discomfort with being observed by other people. I mean, we've all felt a little awkward when someone stares at us, right? But for Subject C, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill social anxiety. It's a profound, deep-seated mystery. And to unravel it, the source text we're unpacking today doesn't dig into their childhood. No, it looks quite literally up into the stars. So I really want you to think about this. Why exactly does Subject C hate being watched with such intense, visceral emotion? You know, normally when we see extreme quirks like this, unexplained aversions, deep phobias, things like that, we automatically turn to conventional psychology, right? We look for completely earthly explanations. But the material we're breaking down today takes a radically different approach. It actually suggests that to understand this extreme aversion, we have to look at a highly esoteric, cosmic explanation. It's a pretty wild ride, and honestly, it completely reframes how we might think about human behavior. The source text uses this wonderfully evocative phrase to describe exactly what Subject C is feeling. It calls it an alien-like sense of privacy and extreme caution. Think about that for a second. It's not just regular earthly panic. It implies this fundamental feeling of simply not belonging here. It's a deeply ingrained, almost instinctual need to stay completely hidden from the gaze of the people of this world. It's extreme self-preservation, and the text argues that this actually stems from a soul that feels entirely foreign to its current environment. So yeah, this is way beyond just being a little introverted. It's a deep, cosmic caution. Okay, let's dive into this. The source material we're looking at claims to uncover the hidden, interstellar memories of human souls. And when it comes to Subject C, the explanation for their extreme privacy points straight to an otherworldly account involving secrets hidden on the far side of the moon. According to this text, the moon is definitely not just some dead rock orbiting Earth. It supposedly holds a functioning, hidden base where some truly unbelievable interactions have taken place. And it's this very specific lunar connection that allegedly holds the key to Subject C's entire psychological puzzle. The account lays out this remarkable three-step journey. First, we start with Subject C's ordinary earthly life, just, going about their business. But then, things take a massive, dramatic turn. Step 2 details Subject C actually being taken by a UFO. Now, interestingly, this isn't described as some terrifying abduction scenario, but more like a journey with a very specific intended destination. And that brings us to Step 3, arrival at a hidden base on the far side of the moon. The text presents this as both a physical and a spiritual voyage, a profound dislocation from Earth that sets the stage for some incredibly significant cosmic meetings.
Section title, 3 Distinct Alien Encounters.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible contrast in the beings described. At this lunar base, Subject C reportedly conversed with 3 completely distinct extraterrestrial entities. First, an entity with a goat-like face. Second, a beautiful blonde woman, who the source suggests is likely Pleiadian in origin. And third, an alien with a baboon-like face. The source material just neutrally details these highly specific entities, which really challenges that standard homogenized pop culture image we all have of what an alien is supposed to look like. So you have this huge visual contrast happening here. On one hand, you've got the described human-like beauty of the blonde Pleiadian. That's a form that feels familiar, maybe even a little comforting to a human observer, right? But then, on the exact opposite hand, you have the startlingly animalistic features of the goat and baboon-faced aliens. According to the source, Subject C had to sit there, process, and interact with all of these wildly differing aesthetics all at once at the lunar base. The text uses this juxtaposition to emphasize the vast, almost incomprehensible diversity of life that supposedly exists out there.
Section title, Subject C's Future Mission.
So, the crucial point is understanding the actual purpose of this whole experience. Subject C's soul, according to the text, carries a very grounded, specific cosmic duty. Their mission is to introduce the existence and the incredibly diverse appearance of these beings to humanity. And they're meant to do this through visual media, specifically photography or filmmaking. Basically, Subject C is tasked with making the unseen seen. They have to use the tools of earthly media to slowly acclimate the rest of humanity to the reality of beings just like the ones they interacted with on the moon base. They have to use the tools of earthly media to slowly acclimate the rest of humanity to the reality of beings just like the ones they interacted with on the moon base. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this all connects back to the mystery we started with. Let's connect the dots here. Subject C has this intense, alien-like sense of privacy, absolutely hates being watched. But they also have this massive cosmic mission to visually introduce aliens to the world. So how on earth do you reconcile those two things? Well, by operating behind the camera. Think about it. As a photographer or filmmaker, you are the observer. You are inherently not the observed. The camera acts as a perfect shield. It allows Subject C to safely execute their soul's mission of visual disclosure, all while perfectly maintaining that deep-seated protective caution. Their biggest psychological quirk is literally the exact mechanism that lets them fulfill their cosmic duty. It's like a giant puzzle coming completely together.
Which leaves us with this final, absolutely fascinating question to ponder. Could our deepest psychological quirks actually have origins beyond this world? Look, whether you view this source material as literal truth or just as a really profound metaphorical framework, it definitely forces us to ask some incredible questions about ourselves. Next time you notice a seemingly inexplicable quirk in yourself, or maybe someone you know, like an intense aversion or a strange talent, consider the story of Subject C. What if the very things that make us the most unusual are actually clues to a much larger, maybe even cosmic story? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you something completely new to think about today. Keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.